Hey, Planeswalkers, Mythras here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. Welcome to our weekly meta series here on Magic the Gathering Arena. All things for you to equip you with the best decks. It's yours truly, Meta Master Mythras here. Excited to break it down here as we're halfway through April season now, because there's a lot going on as always. So appreciate you tuning in, Planeswalkers. Flip me a like, smash the subscribe. We got a lot going on here. You can check out the timestamps down below where we break down standard, alchemy, historic brawl, best of 1, best of 3, talk about some of the key events from last week as well. Other great ways to stay in tune. You can pop on the Discord server, and other great ways to stay up to date with the channel down below in the description. So with that, let's break things down here and jump right into it for standard best of 1. So here's what we got going on across the whole smorgasbord here. Naya Humans still holding up the top. We got mono white aggro, Selesnya enchantments, Naya runes, mono black control, Esper control, Rakdos sacrifice, Orzhov control. 16% of the meta still on mono white aggro, followed by 8%, and then about 5% for the rest of the things out there. So as we see how this has moved over the last week, we start to see a little bit more uptick in mono white again, a little bit more of a downtick on the mono white humans. We start to really see Orzhov control popping off here in terms of the win rate at an aggregate. Everything else kind of going steady Eddie there. Let's go ahead and move up to the more competitive scene. We like to lock it in there and take a look. Naya Humans, mono white aggro, Selesnya enchantments, still everything being pretty much the same. Naya Humans get a little bit more of the play. We see that mono white recovery, and then similar style here with the upticks, kind of a little bit better in Naya Humans as well as mono white. Selesnya enchantments still doing fairly well, and then you can see that Naya runes kind of going up, and that lovely Esper control that started to pop in there. Now let's go ahead to the true competitive scene here. Orzhov control doing well, mono white aggro, and Selesnya enchantments here at the top, and you can see what's on the play. Interestingly enough, when we looked at it in terms of aggregate, a little bit different there in terms of that messaging. So that's always a big one to see there as well. So we'll blow this all the way back out. We're going to pop over to standard best of 3 now. There, what we have going on at the top, Naya runes, mono white aggro, Selesnya ramp, Orzhov control, Boros aggro, Esper control, Rakdos sacrifice, Azor's control in there, but at 48%. Then again, you can see on popularity on the right, Orzhov control being the main played deck, mono white aggro, Naya runes, Selesnya ramp, Rakdos sacrifice, really being the top kind of meta there, those top 5 decks. And then we got the rest of the stuff there following at 4%. We can see how things have really moved here in terms of the meta. Again, that Orzhov control doing the back uptick. And so far, mono white aggro holding in there. Sadly, the Jeskai Hinata not doing super well there. I know that's not one at the top, but that's a pretty interesting view to see nonetheless. You can see that Naya runes doing well, aggro, and then the mono white Selesnya ramp as well in terms of upticks for that meta. Now, when we get into the more aggressive space again and competitive space, here's what we got going on: Naya runes, Selesnya ramp, mono white aggro, Orzhov control. We can see the breakdown there. We do have teamer mid range. Been seeing quite a bit of that as well. Combo decks, OTK, all that stuff. Then we got Orzhov control, mono white aggro, Naya runes, Selesnya ramp, and then a host of the other stuff there following behind. And similar style here at that space. Let's go to the true top end of Mythic. Here's what we got going on: Orzhov control, Naya runes, and Selesnya ramp. Orzhov control making up 16%, Selesnya ramp at 12%, and then Naya runes at that 7%. So that's what we got going on in standard this week. Let's break it all the way back down. We're going to move over to alchemy. So alchemy, what's happening? Because we did have a nice change here. We got a few things going on. Mono green stompy picking back up here. Naya runes, mono white aggro, Rakdos sacrifice, Gruul werewolves, mono black discard, Boros warriors, and Golgari elves. Some new stuff here. Then we got Rakdos sacrifice at 10%, so that was similar to last week. Gruul werewolves popping back up, mono black discard, mono green stompy. So a lot of things juggling around there in terms of meta. We can see here Rakdos sacrifice being one of the most popular decks, still moving up. You can see how the other things are trending. We can see the win rates really trending up again as some of these things start to get sorted out here in the Alchemy meta with the changes. Now let's go to the top end. It's competitive space. Mono green Stompy still doing really well. Mono white aggro doing well here. Naya Runes, Rakdos Sacrifice, and the rest. Rakdos Sacrifice again being the top play deck. Mono black discard being a little bit more popular up here, and then you can see how that's doing. There's the trends, and last but not least, we'll pop over to Mythic. Still not enough data there from that space. And not surprised because of, not only not being out super long here, only about a week, but that's pretty common as we build up that data. All right, next, best of 3. Surprised to see a little bit here, so this is good. It's fun to see this. Mono green Stompy doing really well. Rakdos midrange, we got a Grixis midrange, Rakdos Sacrifice, and you can see on the play here and what things are looking like. Good to get a little bit data. I suspect as we get in the competitive space, probably not as much, a little bit of change there. So you can see how that's going, and probably nothing in the Mythic, but we'll see. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Alchemy, keep an eye on that because we got a lot of things going still in that space. Historic, what's going on in Historic? Selesnya Heliod or Squirrel Twins still being the main top deck. We got Mono Red Aggro doing well, Mono Green Elves, Zorus Auras, Zorus Control, Is It Phoenix, Martyr Vehicles, Jeskai Control, 13% on Mono Red Aggro, Is It Phoenix, Mono Green Elves, and you can see the rest. Mono Red Aggro really hopping down here, which is pretty big to pay attention to. That's a pretty big dump in terms of percent played. Everything else kind of going sideways. That Selesnya Heliod really popping back up in that win rate though. Mono Red starting to get a little bit better, and you can see some of the other downtrends there. Now, as we move into competitive realm, Selesnya Enchantress doing well, Mono Red Aggro, Selesnya Heliod, Zorus Auras, Green Elves, and the rest there. Again, Mono Red Aggro at 15%. We do see Is It Phoenix doing a little bit better there in terms of win rates, just really eclipsing that towards the tail end. And then again, win rate over time. Lots of movement happening there with a lot of those decks. Now let's take a quick peek here at Mythic. What do we got? Popularity, Mono Red Aggro deck you want to be on probably to get there, or something to think about. So let's blow that back out. Let's pop over to best of 3. Best of 3 here. We got Azorus Affinity, Azorus Auras, Mono Red Aggro, Is It Phoenix, Rule Aggro, Azorus Control, our 5-color Niv, Rakdos Arcana still in there. 24% on Is It Phoenix, so that's pretty big to see. Azorus Auras at 9, and then you can see the rest there. Here we see the top end, really Is It Phoenix dominating the meta. So make sure you have some hard counters if you're going to not play that deck. And then you can see kind of win rates here. It is in the middle, so that's a big thing to keep in mind. Now let's go ahead and move towards that competitive space. We see a couple things flip around here, mostly intact when we look at the popularity. And again, we'll take that quick snapshot. Zorus Control really popping back up there in terms of win rate as we move in towards the second half of the season. And at the top end, we do have Is It Phoenix and Rakdos Arcanist, and you can see the percent played in that Mythic space. All right, so let's blow back out here and pop over to those of you that like Historic Brawl. We love to take a look at this because I know a lot of you in the Discord love this stuff too. So we got Kinnan, we got Muxus, Goblin, Grandee. We got Azusa, Niv Mizzet, Synthis, Jarok, Golos, and Azeka. You can see percent plays as always. A lot of this stuff kind of 50-50 here in the meta. Lots of you loving Azeka, but not doing so well in the win rates. But we can really see this stuff moving around. Kinnan's still being very strong and dominating in terms of what we got going on in our Historic Brawl meta. All right, so fast and furious there for today's update view on the meta. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the key events that happened this past weekend. So first off, we got DGen Open. This was a standard format. We had roughly 175 players, ton of players. Let's see what we got going on here. Jeskai combo taking it down, followed by Naya Runes, more Jeskai combo. We got a Jeskai Mill, Esper midrange, Mardu midrange, Orzhov midrange, Esper midrange, Is It Control. So very interesting to see some of the tournament play decks and see how those things are pulling through. Let's go ahead and look at the number of decks. What was most popular? Esper Control, Rakdos Sacrifice, Orzhov midrange, Mono White Aggro, still being a ton, Teamer, Treasures, so lots of those decks. What do we got in terms of win rates? 55% here. Let's go ahead and look at most of the wins. Grixis, in terms of more popular stuff, definitely Jeskai combo did very well there in this tournament and certainly took it down, which is great to see. Congratulations, Tristan. All right, next, in terms of another event, we got the Pizza Box Slice of Alchemy. So about 35 players did want a spotlight on this. Good to see you always, as always, friends of the Pizza Box. Here's what we got going on. Ivan Mary taking it down, mono green aggro. So again, we saw that as a big piece in the meta, doing very, very well with the 8-0 Rakdos Sacrifice, another mono green, Rakdos midrange, another mono green. So lots of domination starting to go in that space. Big to pay attention to that. 78% on the wins for mono green aggro. So big shout outs there. Some cool, fun facts and events that certainly could have definitely had an impact and shape on some of these numbers here over the last weekend. So last but not least, for Friday Night Meta, you have a wonderful holiday Easter weekend for those of you that celebrate. And I'm happy to be getting to see some of my family. So hope you are too. With that, Planeswalkers, as always, thank you so much. Flip me a like, smash subscribe. Love our weekly series here. One of my favorite things to do on the channel. Stay tuned and in touch because we got a lot of stuff coming. I definitely am going to get back on the pedal here to the metal when it comes to all things here on the channel. So stay tuned because it's going to be a lot of fun. With that, thank you as always. Great ways to stay in touch down below. If you got a question or comment, let me know. Feel free to hop in the Discord server. We had a lot of people joining over the last week or two here, so thank you. Looking forward to the additional community. And as always, with that, Planeswalkers, with this weekend, holiday weekend, you stay safe, you take care. We'll see you again soon. Until next time, Mythras out.